Hello and welcome back to LowKey Gaming. I am going to be plunging into the world of the Pokemon universe, but with a twist, and it will blow your mind. It's Pokemon Infinite Fusion. What in the Poke world is Pokemon Infinite Fusion? It's not just your typical Pokemon game, it's a fan-made masterpiece that cranks up the fusion concept to a whole new level. And in this run, I will be fusing all the Pokemon with just a Steel type, making this very much a Steel type run. Now, without further ado, let us jump right in. Professor Oak now offered us 3 Pokemon. We have Aegislash, Girafarig, and Seaking. Given that it is a Steel run, I went with Aegislash. Now look at Ganon, he's just so greedy, he takes 2 of the Pokemon, fuses them together, and asks me for a battle. So he sends out this absolutely cursed creature called Girafarig, which is obviously a Seaking and Girafarig fusion, but honestly it stands no chance against Aegislash, who has King Shield and Aerial Ace, just make short work of this sea Pokemon. Having smashed our rival, we head over to Viridian City, where we pick up a parcel for Professor Oak. Luckily this is also part of a special offering, so we actually got our DNA splices. With the parcel in hand, we go over to Professor Oak, pass him the parcel, and collect some Pokeballs in exchange, as well as the Pokedex. So, with our Pokeballs and Pokedex, we're now finally ready to go out to the world and collect some of these Pokemon. Just having a look over at Route 1, what do we find? And we find a Rhydon of all Pokemon. We catch this Rhydon, and of course we fuse it immediately to our Aegislash to hopefully create something quite amazing. What do we get? We got this thing called a Rhyslash. But I wasn't in love with it, so I wanted to go out and find something else. So I found Heracross. Immediately catch that Heracross and fuse it to my Aegislash, creating something that I believe is much cooler. And of course, maybe you guys agree too, it is a Heraslash. Awesome! Now that we're in Pewter City, we wasted absolutely no time going after Brock, our first gym leader in our quest of 8 gym leaders. He sends out a Papom, an interesting looking creature who I actually don't really mind, it's kind of cute. Nevertheless, we use the Sword stance to boost our attack. It is now sharply risen and we are going to just decimate them. We throw out an Aerial Ace, which of course just one-shots this poor little thing. Brock sends out a Shalom and we do the same thing, we just one-shot it with Aerial Ace. Kabam, a critical hit as well. And with that we have beaten Brock, the first gym leader. Out the front of Mount Moon, Nurse Joy is telling us about some thugs that are inside the cave. Of course, Brock comes here and goes, "Oh, well, I think somebody better look after it. I wonder who it should be." Brock nominates us, and we take on the challenge. We like clearing out Team Rocket scum as it is. So while I was inside Mount Moon, there were some really cool evolutions. There's Polylord, which is just fantastic. This Chachu, who I honestly thought was a Digimon. And Chachu, another one. Well, maybe it's Cha-Chow. And of course, Dustar, little Larvitar Dusk Noir. Then we find this funny little Giraseed in the wild, and of course we have to catch it because Giraseed is part Steel. I immediately fused them together with my Abra to create what I was hoping to be a really cool Pokemon, but ended up with an Abseed. As you can see, it looks bloody cursed. It is just horrific. So thinking that an evolution would make it any better, I decided to go ahead and do just that. And I created a Cacaseed, which is actually worse. However, where looks failed that poor Cacaseed, it did not fail when a wild Giratina appeared, and we caught it and of course fused it with our little Ferroseed. We created Ferrostina. Team Rocket are trying to do something really weird with 3 Pokemon and trying to fuse them all together. The poor scientist didn't want to fight, but Team Rocket forced him into it, so of course we had to fight this guy. And he sent out a Milrouse, which is a Lapras Miltank fusion, which was actually much tankier than expected, so I had to swap out to Heraslash just to finish it off. With that victory under my belt, and Team Rocket realizing their experiment was actually failing, they scattered, allowing us to claim our reward of a fossil. Having collected the Dome Fossil, we moved into Cerulean City, went to the Pokemon Center to heal right back up, ding 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 ding, and then we decided to go back into the wild to go collect some more Pokemon for our team. An Arwudo appeared, of course that was an Argon, so I fused it with my Rhydon and Ardon. We went all the way up to Nugget Bridge, but then stopped of course by our rival Ganon. Now this guy is way too strong for us right now, so I don't know what I'm going to do. So Ganon throws out a Litlade, which is an amazing Gallade, and I can only imagine some kind of ghost or toxic type. I wasn't too sure. Either way, it made real short work of Ferrostina, taking it out real quick. Of course I swapped over to Heraslash to get some revenge, only to be destroyed by this Lamp Slash, which is an absolutely phenomenal design. I mean, just look at it. It also had absolutely no problem taking out my Argon, so I was defeated. I blacked out, and I knew it was just about time to go get some more Pokemon to improve my team. Luckily, a Klinklang appeared, and I thought, fantastic. Fast forward, and I am fusing it with my Giratina to see what we'll make, and just look at this thing. It's a thing of absolute nightmares. Like, could it be from Terminator? Maybe. Could it be from Alien? Maybe. I don't really know, but it is just sick. I also decided to fuse Heracross and Aegislash together to create something a little bit different, a little bit cooler than what was there before, and I've got I got Aegicross. Now, if that isn't a night Pokemon, I don't know what is. Now, I also found a Cleffa, which I thought was a fantastic idea to be fused with my Ferroseed, so I did that, and bam, I got one of the cutest little spiky things you've ever seen, a little Clefseed. I wanted to make Clefseed stronger, so I went off and evolved it right away, turning it into, again, Clefseed. One more time, I fed it a Moonstone, and I got Clefseed once again. With my brand new team, I decided it's time to go after Misty, who is a Dragon Water type user this time. They sent out Voltfa. Unfortunately for them, I have Clefseed, and Clefseed's Iron Barbs just made short work of all the multi-attacks I was being hit with. Just look at it, it just keeps on killing itself against my ability. Then Misty sent out her trump card, Dragados, which is just so cool. I mean, if you saw that in the water, you would be disappearing. I don't know if it can fly, it looks like it's a bit too heavy, but either way, here I am with my Aegicross just trying to slap it out, but it knows Dragon Rage, which is a 40 damaging move at the start of the game, which is way too strong. Sad with my loss, I decided it was time to train up, and I went back at it. I versed Misty with my Clefseed, and this time I got a series of rollouts, absolutely hitting her, as well as letting my Iron Barbs just take out all her physical damage against me back on her. And as you can see, it took absolutely no time for my Clefseed to take him out, granting me the second badge of the run, the Cascade Badge. With Misty's defeat under my belt, it was time to go back and verse Ganon. It didn't take very long for Ganon's Lit Blade to make short work of all my Pokemon once again. As you can see, it was just horrible. I got hit by confusion after confusion after confusion. I missed my attacks and I kept on getting burnt. I was screaming at this point, I was really annoyed. But then I sent out Ardon, and his Iron Heads were actually really good, so I just Iron Headed Lit Blade to death. Then Sirafari came out, destroyed my Argon, and here I had to send out Klinktina, who not only destroyed that disgusting looking sea monster, but also took out Lampslash, who we had previously lost to a few times. Now, seeing their final Pokemon, Hauntlem, I was a little bit worried, but then he used Mean Look, completely useless move given it was a 1v1 at that point, so I took it out, winning me the battle. I rushed over to Bill, who had fused himself with the Rhydon, an absolutely idiotic man if there ever was one. After helping him out, he gave us the SSN ticket, so we could go on a big boat. I quickly picked up the captain's key, then made my way to the captain's room until I was interrupted again by my rival. He sent out Agite, which is so cool. I was a little bit jealous if I was being perfectly honest. That's an Entei and an Aegislash, like that is an amazing combination. Nevertheless, we took it out. Then the sea monster came out, again falling to Klinktina. Then they sent out Psylorb, which is a Sylveon Electrode Fusion. Took that out and was up against his last thing, which is Zochick. Quite a cool custom design if I'm not gonna lie. I really cannot wait to see what it turns into. But I beat those Pokemon, and look at that, just like that, I had beaten him once. I gave the old captain a little rubber-dub-dub on his back, and he thanked me by giving me the HM cut. With that, I was finally able to enter Lieutenant Surge's little dungeon. I tried to do the bins, and I just don't get it, so someone please, in the comments, let me know how to do that. Anyway, I figured it out by Brian Luck and was up against Lieutenant Surge, who sent out Odeon, and I take it out with a couple of Iron Heads, easy peasy. He then sends out Tree Bird, which is just revolting, and he also sent out Bulpy, which we made out bitch, and sent Lieutenant Surge crying to Mummy. We made our way down to Lavender Town, but of course, we were interrupted once again by Ganon, our rival. By this point, you really kind of have to ask yourself, like, isn't he not used to just being beaten by us? Anywho, he sends out Sunperk, which gets destroyed by us, the Sea Monster, which again, we take out with a combination of Iron Barbs and Pin Missile. He sends out this Orisect, which is really kind of creepy. I don't want to see the underside of it, I'd much prefer to see the upside. And then he sends out his final Pokemon, a Shield Vion, which I've got to say, it looks so cool. It's kind of demonic, it's kind of angelic. It's a cool Pokemon, I really want it. So I sent out my Aegicross to take it out. A single Sacred Sword did its magic and absolutely one-shot it. With that, I had beaten the rival once again. Unfortunately, progress was really quite impossible at this point because we needed the Silph scope to progress any further, which means we need to go to Celadon City. And as I got there, we saw Team Rocket, and unfortunately they were blocking the way and saying that they actually have a hidden base in the sewers. It didn't take long for myself to partner up with Erika, the gym leader, who also realised Team Rocket were being a really big pain, so she decided to team up with me as well. During our joint time together, we saw some amazing Pokemon, such as this Barblu and Dusnium, Venutoad and Coffersaur. And at some point, our Ardon decided to evolve. So we welcomed our brand new Pokemon, our Lairdon. After defeating all the grunts in the Team Rocket sewers, it was time to battle Giovanni. He sent out Hootria, who we absolutely decimated with our Lairdon. Next came Turtria, which honestly didn't look like that much of a threat, and I was quite right because Lairdon destroyed him once again. Then we faced this Megadon, which I think is amazing. Unfortunately, it has nothing against our Aegikros, which took it out easy peasy with a Sacred Sword, giving us yet another win over Giovanni, the boss of Team Rocket. With the Silph scope now in hand, it was time to go back to Lavender Town and up the Pokemon Tower. We found a Klefki, catching it immediately. I wanted to fuse Klefki with my Tyranitar to see what kind of beast would be created, and we got this, a Clefaitar. After beating all the ghosts, we made our way all the way up the top and started talking to the old man. The old man gave us the Pokeflute. Now we can finally get past that annoying Snorlax. I bought a Koalava from the coin store, and I fused it with my Klefki to create something a little bit cooler, a Cleflava. Cleflava evolved into Cleflusion, which I must say looks absolutely cursed. We took our evolved Pokemon and started to challenge Erika. It didn't take very long for our Cleflusion to get one up, however Quillzone made short work of our Pokemon, then finally Lairdon came out and clutched the win. With all that out of the way, we made our way to Fuchsia City, where we decided to go take a trip in the Safari Zone. Inferno, caught that. Acidra, caught that. Skarmory, caught that. Menexio, we even caught that one. Vileplume, caught that. Now, for some fusions, Klefki and Pikachu. That made Clefchu. Zapdos and Skarmory, Skardos. Magnezone and a Tyranitar? Whoa, Magnetar. Anyway, we decided to go battle the gym leader. He sent out Bulbasaur, but we took it out with our Clefseed. We were then up against a Geoloon, which decided to explode on us, taking itself out but not us. Then we're up against Nosco. This thing was tanky, but unfortunately for him, Clefseed was far too superior. Then we versus Hungron. I mean, this is so much cooler than all his other Pokemon. Koga really needed to step it up, and he did. It took out our Clefseed, but then our Cleftree comes out, gets a one-shot. Our last hope, Aegikros, using Sacred Sword to secure the win and the gym badge. Applying a Thunderstone, we were able to evolve Clefchu into Clefchu once again. Lairdon evolves one more time into Argon. Clefseed evolves one more time, and we get this Clefthorn, which looks like it's a squished Jigglypuff with worlds around it. It's amazing. Anyway, I decided to fuse Magnezone and Vileplume together to create something brand new. Ooh, this is a favourite, Vilepzone. In Silph Tower, we had to beat Giovanni one more time, who was holding everybody hostage. Giovanni sends out Lanloom and Kektar. We remove Kektar, we throw out our brand new Vilepzone, and out comes a Sabglar. Absolutely wicked looking Pokemon. I mean, look at that tongue, the detailing around its arms, around its head, it's really quite good. Clinktina, unfortunately, knocked out by a foul player by Sabglar. Clefthorn comes out looking amazing now. We take out Lanloom with the Power Whip, and then Giovanni sends out Zank, his last Pokemon, which is able to take our Vilepzone out. We send out Aegikros and the battle continues. Clefthorn hits Gengar with a rollout, which takes him out. Unfortunately, Psychic is also taking out Aegislash. Agdon comes out, gives it a Stone Edge, and Clefthorn snatches the win with Pin Missile. With that, we have beaten Giovanni and we have saved Silph Co. Having picked up the Master Ball, I now ran to the Pokemon match to go find Blaine, the Cinnabar Island gym leader. But before challenging Blaine, I decided to fuse a few Pokemon, so I got Typhlosion and Skarmory creating Skarlosion, Zapdos and Aegislash creating Aegidos, So, with those new fusions, it is time to verse Blaine. Blaine sends out a Marla, and we send out Aegidos. Aegidos does very well with a couple of air slashes, taking it out. Next in comes Hitmonorb, who was able to actually take out Aegidos with a Sky Uppercut, where we send out Clefchu, using the Play Rough to take out Hitmonorb. Manados is thrown out next, we nuzzle it for the Paralysis, and it uses Final Gambit, unfortunately taking itself out. Skipferno comes out, we again give it a Paralysis, it takes out Clefchu with a Giga Drain. But then our Scarlosian, an absolute beast, comes in with an air slash and takes the win. With that, Blair is done and dusted. We have the volcano badge, Fire Blast, and now it is time to go to Mount Ember. At Mount Ember, we see what is unfolding by Team Rocket and Giovanni. They are fusing 3 Pokemon together, and not just any 3, they are fusing Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. This is the battle we've been anticipating. This is the one that's going to be hardest to beat. So, Giovanni sends out Zapmoncuno, the 3-headed, 3 legendary bird. I hit it with a discharge, hitting all 3 of them. Unfortunately, Clefchu is deleted. Biozone comes out and again does another discharge, but then gets taken out by the trio. I send out Clefthorn, getting off an explosion as well as a couple of Iron Bun. Next in, Aegidos, who is able to take out Articuno, but then succumbs to a Thunderbolt. I then send out Agdon, trying to get out some of them using Rock Slide, which takes out Moltres. Only Zapdos remains. Rock Slide takes it out. And with that, we beat Team Giovanni once again. Knowing that this is a randomized Nuzlocke, I did not have very high hopes. And look at that, it was a Rhyperior, which I already have. Nevertheless, I threw my Master Ball hoping to catch it. I took myself back to Viridian City to Giovanni to take on the 8th and final gym. He sends out Typhoon, who one-shots us with a flamethrower. We send down Agdon, who uses Earthquake to clutch the kill. Agdon is taken out very quickly by Impovy. Biozone comes out and Petal Blizzards. Petal Blizzard hits again, taking it out. Out comes Tentilbra. Pretty cool Pokemon if you ask me. Again, Petal Blizzard doing major damage. It Mega Drains and full restores back up. The Blizzard, again killing it. Out comes Bulbakip. It is not threatening. We take it out with 3 Petal Blizzards. Last but not least comes Lanone. We take it out with the Mega Drain, and with that we have defeated all 8 gym leaders. It is time for the Elite Four. We make our way through Victory Road all the way up to Indigo Plateau and into the Elite Four. But first we must evolve our Pokemon. Agdon evolves into Agperia. We first go up against Lorelei, who uses Fighting type Pokemon. We are met first with Dusselu. We use a Play Rough, taking out more than half its health. Lorelei actually withdraws his Pokemon, sending out Madon. Play Rough hits, doing little damage. He misses Dynamic Punch, and we Play Rough once again. Madon is now at half health, but we are taken out. So we have to send out Clefthorn. We send out 2 lots of Toxic Spikes. Before she swaps her Pokemon out, Dusselu comes right back, using Future Sight. Power Whip hits him, doing significant damage. And again, for the win. Croco Cross comes out, Earthquaking Clefthorn and taking her out. Aegidos comes out, hit by a Power Play, doesn't really hurt us. Sacred Sword hits for little damage. However, the Toxic is taking its toll. Toxic takes him out. Out comes Salachamp. We use Air Slash, doing 50% twice for the kill, with Toxic supplementing the damage. Madon comes out once again, cross-chopping Aegidos, killing us. Then we send out Biozone, who activates Petal Blizzard, which takes out Madon. Pidgeot comes out, absolutely terrible looking Pokemon, and is hit by a Discharge, which took it out in one shot. With that, we have taken the first win of the Elite Four. Now, on to Bruno. Bruno sends out Warade, which is a Roserade and Wartortle fusion. We get off 2 Toxic Spikes, and we're able to tank all the hits that were sent over to us. We then swap out to Clefchu, knowing that this battle was going nowhere. We get a Paralysis off, however that is removed. Nevertheless, a Discharge takes it out. Out comes Litsaw. Again, Discharge hits, doing 50%. Discharge again for the win. Venomoth comes out, we do a Discharge and actually get a Paralysis off. Another Discharge and it's gone. Out comes Kradish. Discharge, another Paralysis. Another Discharge and one more Discharge, almost taking it out. We're very close, but a full restore. We nuzzle and get a Paralysis. Discharge, and Discharge once again. Unfortunately, Energy Ball does take us out, but we send our Biozone, who does another Discharge, keeping up the fun. Kofagama comes out, but is quickly taken out by a Flash Cannon. And with that, we have beaten Bruno. Next is Agatha. Agatha sends out Volcarpet. We manage to get off 2 sets of Toxic Spikes before being hit by Whirlwind, bringing out Biozone. Heatwave takes out Biozone. a huge blow to our team. We Moonblast on Clefchu, hoping to do a bit of damage, but it wasn't enough. We are then hit by a Whirlwind, bringing out Aegidos. Aegidos takes over a 50% Heat Wave. However, we kill it with an Air Slash. Next out comes Charqueen. Charqueen taking out Aegidos, however suffering some Toxics, but unfortunately succumbs to a Flamethrower. We then send out our Clefchu back, but unfortunately is knocked out by a Flamethrower. Next in is Agperia, who takes out Charqueen. Charqueen is then swapped out for Sneatrio. Sneatrio cannot stand an Earthquake, we do 2 of them to seal the win. Agibone is out next and takes out our Pokemon. However, Clefthorn comes out and does a Power Whip for the win. Finally we see Jumpwhack, who was also taken out by our Pokemon. Having finally beaten Agatha, it is now time for Lance, the champion of the Elite Four. Lance sends out Cophagish and takes out our Clefthorn with a Shadow Ball. So we have no choice but to send out Clefchu. We are able to take it out with one more Moonblast. Then out comes Driftbow. We get a Paralysis off and continue our discharges. However, Driftbow decides to Explosion, taking itself out as well as our Clefchu. We send out Vile Zone, who goes up against Fragments. We use a few discharges and actually do get the win. Then we are against Yatha, who is able to take out our Vile Zone. And then it's the Yatha vs Scarlosian, and of course as you can see, Scarlosian takes the win. Solo Magius comes out next, uses a Psychic to try and beat us down, but we use a Roost to recover some health. Flare Blitz easily taking it out in one shot. And with that we have beaten Lance and on to our rival Ganon. Ganon sends out Polysom, who uses Bounce, allowing us to get a couple of Toxic Spikes off. With our Toxic Spikes on the ground, we swap out to Aegidos. Aegidos does get paralyzed by Bounce, gets hit twice by Confusion, and then unfortunately is taken out by another Confusion, so that was 3 in total. Then we send out Clefchu, who misses his attack, gets swaggered, and then confused. Tilted, I send out Vile Zone, and Vile Zone uses Petal Blizzard, doing okay damage, but not enough. Discharge though, however, taking it out. Ganon then sends out Pearl. However, Pearl cannot survive 2 Flash Cannons. Next out comes Spirino, who does take out our Vile Zone. We send out Clefchu with a Nuzzle to get off a Paralysis, and a Discharge to see how much damage it does. Not enough, and unfortunately Dark Pulse does take us out. Agperia comes out, using an Earthquake, hitting first because of the Paralysis, but no luck, doesn't take it out in 1 shot, but it does in 2. Spirino faints. Out comes Seafarig, who has always lost to our Clefthorn. Our Power Whip does take it out. And then we see a Cleftra, in which we send out Vile Zone once again, who uses Steel Cannon to knock her out. And then finally, his ultimate Pokemon, Rayquaza. Rayquaza is almost able to take out Vile Zone, leaving us on 1 HP. However, we do get a Discharge and a Paralysis, which enables us to hit first, snatching the win. Oh my god, that was a close game. And with that, we have beaten all 8 gym leaders and the Elite Four, as well as our rival. With that, we are the champion of the Pokemon League. If you enjoyed Pokemon Infinite Fusion as much as I did, you should really like and subscribe. I'll be pumping out a few of these videos in the coming months. I'm looking forward to seeing what wacky things I create. If you have any requests for Pokemon runs or Pokemon to use in fusions, just let me know down in the comments and I'll be sure to put them in.